When the lights go up and the whistle blows, she's the calm in the storm, the one who knows. Behind every game, every call, every play, there's a wife holding it down every day. Welcome to Whistles and Wives, the MVPs behind the whistle.
So Kim, if someone saw you at a game, what's one thing they wouldn't know about you just by looking at you?
Wow, that's a tough question. Well, probably just by looking at me, you wouldn't know that I was from California, even though I was born and raised there. So
you feel you've shed that
that's
look.
one thing. I don't know that I ever had it. Like, I don't think that I'm really a typical California girl. And I certainly don't have the whole Valley Girl accent. So I don't know. I don't know what people think of California. I mean, I know what lots of people think of California, but as far as the California stereotype, I'm not it. Like, I'm not OC. Like, people think about, LA, and I'm not
the
that.
Beach,
So,
always.
I don't think I'm your typical
California girl.
California person. And I'm clearly not tan, so don't have that going for me either. I'm not tan and blonde. So, yeah.
Okay. This is our lightning question. So I ask all of my guests at the end of their episode, what is your current game day MVP, or that one thing that you cannot live without or take with you to a game?
Oh my gosh. I have the most amazing stadium chair. It is, so it goes flat and it has the back, what are they called? Backpack straps. It's got pockets on both sides for like your little treats and stuff. It has a battery because it's heated. It can be heated.
Sold.
Which is amazing in the winter. And it also, that same little battery pack will charge your phone.
No way.
I found it on Amazon and it's amazing and I love it.
You have to send me the link so I can put the link in the show notes because I have been looking for, at our previous school, we didn't have to have, the stadium had the little chairs, but I know now I'm going to need one, and especially if it's heated and I can charge my phone.
Yes.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
It's pretty amazing.
So, don't forget, send me the link, please, because I'm going to order before before the season kicks off.
Yes, it's amazing. Okay. I forgot it. I have to go pick it up from Iowa, but yeah, I'm little, so the chair looks really big when I'm carrying it, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love it.
Do you have to charge it? You have to charge it separately, like before?
Yeah, you charge the battery, but I mean, it lasts a while. Well, I guess it was in Indiana. There were some really cold games, so it kind of used up the battery. But I mean, it'll for sure, a full charge will definitely get you through a game, even if you use it the whole time. Oh, and it has like low, medium, high. It's fabulous. I'll send you the link.
Please. Thank you. Okay. Are there any opportunities?
But yes, you just have to charge a little battery pack and be done.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Are there any opportunities in AFCWA that you would like to plug?
Yeah. So right now, membership is open. It just opened our fiscal year. And so I just encourage everybody to check it out, afcwa.org. And sign up. And then once you're a member, you'll get access also to the members only Facebook page and also be allowed to attend convention. The membership dues are quite reasonable. I think it's maybe $35, but it's a great opportunity to be part of an organization that really understands football coach's wife life.
Yes, that's a hashtag.
Yes, it is. There we go.
Awesome. Welcome back to Whistles and Wives. I'm your host, Sheka Espy, and today I'm joined by Kim Bonta, wife of Arkansas Tech Special Teams Coordinator Chris Bonta, and also Secretary of the American Football Coaches Wives Association. We'll talk about her family's move to a new school this season, how she balances her career with football life, and what it's like raising kids who've seen both sides of the coaching journey. Plus, Kim shares the importance of community and her role in supporting other coaches' wives across the country. So let's dive into this episode with Mrs. Kim Bonta. So, Kim, thank you for joining us today. First, I want to give a little bit of a background too, because we met, boy, it's been 5 years now. Has it been 5 years?
I think so. Almost, I think. Yeah.
Almost. Okay.
I just remember it was the 2020 convention was virtual, right? Because of COVID. So we must have met
because I didn't go that
2021.
one. Yes. Okay. Because I do remember
Yes.
it was through our mentor group that we had first got together.
Yes, the divisional breakout.
Yes,
The JUCO wives.
that's what it was. Yes, because we were, oh my goodness. I remember those days. Those were
and
some
it was
rough
just the
days.
3 of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't like JUCO ball?
In
You were still in
California?
California,
Absolutely
though, right?
no.
Oh,
Yes.
that was terrible. Yeah.
It was
No.
terrible. Yeah. I'll share that
Yeah.
story
It's a
at
whole
some
different
point.
world out there.
It is. It is. And I had planned to interview Frank so he can talk about California JUCO because he has a whole lot to say.
Yeah.
But okay. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you and Chris ended up in the college football world.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's kind of a long answer because it's been quite a journey. So Chris has always been a coach since we got married in 99 and he started coaching, I think, in 2000, originally as a baseball coach. And then when he finally got his teaching credential in 2009, I think it was, one of his mentors said, hey, basically, in order for you to be a greater asset to the school, you need to be a coach. So he was coaching baseball, but that's when he started coaching football. And he'll say, like, being under the Friday night lights with all that energy, like, it's way more fun than baseball. And he used to play baseball, and you know, nothing against baseball, but there's something about football that is just so exciting.
Right.
And so that was kind of the start of it. And he's like super competitive. And so high school wasn't quite fulfilling that for him. And so he took a GA role and we really had to talk about it because the kids were still young.
Mm-hmm.
Our oldest was probably 10 years old. And so we made the decision for him to go to a school in Illinois. And it was eye-opening, we'll say, for him to experience college football and what goes into that from the coaching side.
Okay.
And so then he came back home and it was rough on the family too. We really, it puts a strain on you. It can put a strain on you. Some people do it very successfully. It was really difficult for us. And we have one son who growing up was especially challenging. And so I also had a fair amount of probably resentment.
When he had to leave for that
Chris,
role?
Yeah, when he was gone and I stayed back because I couldn't leave my job. I was the breadwinner. I was the one who was funding this, adventure.
Yes.
And so there was a little bit of resentment. So anyway, he ended up coming back, coached high school football again,
mm-hmm.
and had returned to the classroom. But it always pulled at him. Like he still wanted to go back. And so he had another opportunity, went back again in Illinois. And we had a family emergency. Our youngest son had a mental health crisis. And so basically his head coach was like, you need to go home. If you don't go, I'm going to fire you, and that's going to force you to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And so he came home and was coaching arena ball, and that's when COVID hit. And we were in California.
Idea.
So
okay.
everything shut down.
Yes.
Yeah. He was coaching the San Diego Strike Force
Okay.
and loving it. And was probably one of the first cases of COVID, but we didn't even know it at that time because he came
Everybody
back
thought it
from
was
North
just the
Dakota
flu.
extremely ill. The whole, like a bunch of people came back really, really sick. But yeah, they probably thought it's the flu or, you know, something. So anyway, California shuts down. And so we're doing the COVID thing for a little bit, working from home. And just could not, we still had bills to pay. And so I talked to my work and I was like, look, this isn't working. We're not going to be able to stay in California. We're leaving so I can resign from my position or we can work something out. And so they said, no, we think you're going to be fine in your current role. Go ahead and do it remotely. Just come back once a month.
No way.
So we took off to Texas. And we had already made the decision to go to Texas because we figured we could probably, you know, make a life there even if he didn't have a job. But shortly before we left, he did get another intern position at a JUCO. And so that's where we ended up, you know, having a specific place in Texas that we were going to. So he was there for a couple of years. So anyway, that's since then is when he's really done college football full time without a break, you know, except for the transition periods. But
this whole time, I thought Chris was a teacher and then he turned into a coach, but he's been coaching this entire time.
He was coaching a semi-pro team. He was coaching the high school team, all in baseball. So, but yes, he's like, that's just in him. He's a teacher, like innately, he's a teacher. And so that's what he does. That's what he does well. Classroom atmosphere has changed so dramatically, and he's not okay just handing out grades or handing out packets. And so it wasn't really conducive to his personality. And I saw a change. And so when it got to the point, and he's always taken great pride in his teaching, and he put a lot of effort into his lessons and trying to make them, you know, interactive and just really interesting and meaningful for the kids. And they just were not receptive anymore. And it was draining him. And it got to the point where he was watching film during his class. And I was like, that's a problem. Like, that's not what we do. You know, like, yes. No, we've said if you're not giving it your all, then it's not right anymore. And so that was a really clear sign that the classroom's not where he was supposed to be anymore, and that he needed to go with what he was passionate about. It probably helped at some, like during that time, my work sent me to this basically professional growth retreat. And they really emphasized following your passion. And I was like, well, I don't know that I really have a passion other than seeing other people be happy and successful and pursuing their dreams. Like, I have goals. I'm very, you know, like, I like to set goals. I like to plan, that sort of thing. But I can't tell you what I'm really passionate about other than really my family.
Yes.
But he was very clearly passionate. And so I'm like, so why is it okay for me to hold you back just because I'm also more reserved, like I'm more calculated and, you know, so let's take a chance. And I was at a place where I could better support that. And the kids were a little bit older. So we talked about it as a family and made the commitment together.
How did the kids handle the transition from, I guess, him being a high school teacher, maybe a high school coach, into now this college coaching atmosphere that, and I don't know much about high school. I want to learn a little bit more, but the way that I look at college is that it's just all encompassing and they just want all of your time. So you don't have much time to do anything else. So how was that transition, not only for you, but also your kids as they were getting older?
Well, it was rough. So when we got to that point in the decision making, our oldest, our daughter, was already 18. She was still living at home, but she was free to make her own choices. And she actually had, she's a horse trainer. And so she was moving to Texas anyway. She moved before we did to pursue an opportunity there. So we kind of said, hey, you don't really have a say because it doesn't impact you as much. But, you know, what are your thoughts? Do you support this? So she kind of begrudgingly, you know, gave her approval. But if you look back, you know, if you ask her now, she's probably like, you know, like not thrilled about it. But we didn't give her vote a whole lot of weight. Our older son, so the middle child, was about to turn 18. And so we gave him the option, hey, we're moving. This conversation, I guess, happened during COVID. And so he said, well, that's fine. You support that. You do what makes you happy, because he's very agreeable and sweet, but he hates change. So he said, I'm going to stay here. And so he found a living situation that allowed him to do that. Mm-hmm. And our youngest was on board. He came with us, but he was football minded anyway. And so the change for him was a little bit disappointing because Chris was his high school football coach. And so when he moved to, as a freshman, so when he moved to college football, Jeremiah no longer had an interest in football. Like he quit and didn't go back to it even once school started in Texas again. So that was probably a little bit rough for him. He did participate, like he helped out with the JUCO program and did really well. But it was, I think, a turning point for him as well. I think he really benefited from having that closeness with Chris and something to relate to. And like you said, college football is all encompassing. And so when your family's not able to be as involved, you can with a lot of small programs, but especially with the bigger programs, your families are less involved, right? In my experience. Right. And so he, I think, found a little bit of a disconnect. So I do think it was a turning point also again, in their relationship, which has kind of been a roller coaster anyway. So it was tough. I guess the super short answer, it was tough.
It's tough on the kids. I don't know. I mean, you know, the younger kids can be a little more resilient. They don't really have an opinion most of the time. They just kind of want to be with their friends and family. But I think as they get older, it starts to get a little more challenging. And we experienced that too, because it was, you know, our oldest going into high school. We didn't want to move her. And now she's in college and things still haven't aligned as much as we would have liked. But that was a big, big consideration, just how it was going to impact her.
I think once they get to the high school age, it does make it a little bit more difficult. Even then, kids are resilient. They just have stronger opinions and they feel more of an impact, I think, because of that.
And with those strong opinions come strong emotions. And we're probably the closest ones to them where they express those strong emotions.
Yes.
So this is the first season at Arkansas Tech. What has that change been like for you? Is there anything that you're looking forward to at this new school, this new season?
I have really embraced this whole lifestyle. So I've learned along the way, and I am going to look at it as a positive that we've had quite a few jobs in a short amount of time. So I'm getting much more proficient at moving and adapting and getting out of my comfort zone to meet the other wives and just really buy into the community. Mm-hmm. So as far as Arkansas Tech, so for me, it's a lot more natural. It also helped that you're here, you're sort of here, you know, that you're a part of the staff, that Frank's part of the staff. And, you know, shared that, hey, Julia is really sweet. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to that. But I've also, throughout this process, I think, gained a lot of confidence in putting myself out there and finding out more about the other wives. Whereas, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have much rather just held back and waited for someone else to take the initiative, to introduce themselves, to invite me out, to do, any of those things. And I've just found it to be much more enjoyable when I get to know the other wives, and, whether it's a long-term thing or not, while we're here, let's just enjoy each other's company and, establish a support group, hopefully, that we can lean on, because otherwise it's incredibly lonely. You don't have anybody here. And when you're changing your environment all the time, when you're always in a new community, it's really hard to feel settled and not completely alone and lost.
This is the first staff that I've been a part of where I actually have relationships where I can talk to the other wives. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of those things that I wish I was in the area so that we could hang out a little bit more. I'm grateful that I have you, I have Julia, and Jen and I can't wait to get there so that we can be together and sit together and watch the games. This is all going to be a first for me.
Yeah, we're super excited. Can't wait for you to get here.
It's going to be so good. So good. I'm so excited about this season. You touched on this a little earlier, and you mentioned that you still have a job, you have a career. And during this transition, you let them know, this isn't ideal for my family. I'm going to leave. And they gave you the option to continue working there remotely with the conditions. How has that been for you to, I guess, have this career? Were you nervous when it came time to say, oh, I'm going to leave what I have built? And then do you feel as though, I guess that's just more of a special circumstance that they didn't want you to leave and they offered for you to be remote. But how has that been, you having your own career and now being able to be a little more mobile and take that along with you as your husband moves throughout different programs, different jobs?
I'm really blessed. Very, very blessed. I've been with the company now 20 years. So that, I think, had a lot to do with it. I was already 15 years in by the time I, essentially made this proposal to them, gave them the options of losing me or, allowing me to work remotely. Because I am very open, I've always been very transparent with them with, all of the things that have happened. I feel very comfortable with them to go and just say, hey, here's my situation. And here are a couple options. I'm willing to work with you through that. And, but I had also gotten to the mindset of, I'm okay with whatever they say. I'm not attached to the outcome. So if they don't accept this, okay, we will figure something else out. And, but I was also realistic enough, I think, to say, hey, here are some possibilities. I really hadn't considered that they would allow me to stay in that same role. I guess I did briefly, but I'm just so very thankful that my work supports me in this way. They've supported me all along, but I never had the confidence or really felt like I had the ability to pull this off sooner.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Which is why, I sent Chris off to do college football and I stayed behind. I also wanted to provide what I felt was a more stable life for the kids. Looking back, they would have been just fine. And I think we would have had a great life outside California, but I didn't know that. So it is what it is. So we're back and, I give this proposition to them and they accept. It helped also that one of my bosses is very much a college football fan and incredibly supportive.
Awesome.
And so that's, so we also have things to talk about. And so, yeah, I do have a unique situation. And so it's not like everybody has, the same ability, but I'm very thankful now that I have it and can just freely move about. Like I used to say, oh, hey, now I'm considering this state. And so they got to the point, they're like, we don't really care where you move as long as you can come back. Like, just do what you got to do. Like, okay.
Kim, tell me again,
So-
what is it that you do for the wives that are searching for something a little more flexible? Not saying that this is going to be the case for them, but what is it that you do for work?
At this point, I officially do sales. So the company I work for manufactures glass for like glass tile for kitchens and backsplashes and swimming pools, and also flat glass for stained glass and fused glass. I've done many things in the company. When I got to the point that I was able to work remotely, I was doing more of a project management role, some kind of business development. Then I worked a little bit with the marketing department, but ultimately it's all more account management and sales. So most of the sales team now is remote, but I really think that the turning point was COVID and allowing the company to see that they can have people work remotely and that they still get their work done for the most part. Not everybody works great at home, but a lot of people do. And as long as my output remains good, as long as I'm still meeting the goals and, continuing to be an asset to the company, then I'm still allowed this privilege.
Awesome. Okay. And I want to touch on, you also hold a role in AFCWA, or American Football Coaches Wives Association. And can you tell us a bit about that and what prompted you to step into that role?
Yeah. So when Chris decided to really do college football, he's like, hey, there's AFCA and they've got a wives thing too. And I was like, all right. So I looked it up and I do the research and I see it and I see they've got a convention. I'm like, hey, the wives have their own convention. And I don't remember if it was that time or if I went to one convention. I was like, our convention's way better than the boys' convention. We had way more fun. So I got involved. Well, I became a member, mostly so we could go to convention together. And I thought it's a great opportunity to meet other wives. I did experience, a lot of our friends and mostly my family have a hard time understanding the coaching profession and like, well, why, I just don't understand how you can move around so much, or I just don't understand, or like, why is he always gone? Like, it seems very selfish.
Yes.
And so I was looking forward to having, I guess, access to other wives who understood what it was about. And like, I remember on one of the calls or maybe at a convention or something, they said, with this group, you never have to say, I love my husband, but we all know we love our husbands.
Absolutely. Yes.
It doesn't make it necessarily any less frustrating, some of the situations that we're put in, or, things that we have to go through in order to support our husbands in their passion. And, for most of them, it's a calling, this is what they are here to do. And it's our job as their wives to support them and to allow them to do that and, keep the wheels on the bus. So this organization gets it. And so it was a way to network. It was a way to have support and maybe, learn how to do this better. And then once I got to the first convention, and I just thought, you know what? Organizations like these only work when people participate and people contribute. And it takes a lot to put on the convention. It takes a lot to really run the organization well and continue to gain membership and things like that. And I just saw an opportunity and decided, you know what? It's I'm just going to put it out there. And I think somebody probably encouraged me to do it. I don't remember those details, but it was just kind of a combination. But it's just, I like to be involved and to help out where I can. And so I saw the opportunity, and being on board allows me to take a more active role and to support the organization more.
I really like that, because it is, what you put into it is essentially what you're going to get out of it.
Absolutely.
So at its heart, football is about teamwork. And how has, I guess, the football world or being married to a coach helped foster that teamwork environment within your marriage, within the family? Is that something that you and Chris bring back into the home?
Yes. So with each other, we've learned, especially since we've moved around and now we're empty nesters. We've, been with, like, the kids haven't lived at home really since 2022 or 2023. Anyway, for a few years now, the kids haven't been at home. So it's allowed us to really lean on each other and remember, we are here for each other, and that we have to work as a team in order for this marriage to last. And we both have a very strong commitment to our marriage. And so that's helpful. But it also, when you're going to new places, and especially when you're on staffs that you don't know anybody yet, then you really have to be able to trust each other and like each other. And then, for the kids, they are seeing the growth in us. They're seeing what he does for his players. And there's the giving aspect where you're helping to develop the players, and even the GAs or the interns, like, they're not much older than the players in most cases. And so there's still a lot of growth and development that can happen there too. And we also understand that there's a lot of players being away from home could benefit from that family environment. And so most of the players at this point at the JUCO in Texas, they got to know Jeremiah because he, like I said, helped out with the team. But the other teams since then haven't really gotten to know our kids. So what we try to do for them is show just what a healthy marriage looks like, and just that this can be done even with other coaches. Like, you can have a great marriage and really be focused on each other and do football.
Mm-hmm.
It shifts throughout the year, right? What that looks like, what your relationship looks like overall shifts, because football season, especially like when you're in season, it's incredibly demanding for the husbands, and the wives are, the football widows. I know some people don't like that term, but it's a common term, so we're going to use it.
Yes.
Where we have to be very independent and, just keep things going. The kids see that too. They see that support. So ours looks a little bit different because we went into it when our kids were older, but they see the support that I offer him, especially during season, but that also he tries to be very intentional in, the other parts of football, the recruiting, the camps, all of that, where we have to make time for each other and also focus on the family. So that's been a big shift, because Chris hasn't always been super affectionate towards the kids. He took a very long time to say things like, I love you. But especially with the kids being out of the house, he's taken that time to reflect. And I think they're seeing his personal growth too, that's happened once he finally committed to this and understands priorities, and that they're benefiting from that. Okay. I know that's probably not the typical
I think
expected answer, but
I think it's great. Yeah, because you touched on, you said season, because it's like they're always working. So even when they're not in season, it's like you're still working. Yes. I know Frank tries to make it sound like, well, if I'm not in season, then I have all this more time. It's like, Okay. Yeah. You have a little
No,
bit more
because
time, but
it's either recruiting season or it's camp season
or it's spring ball, or it's all.
spring ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's always something.
Mm-hmm.
And which is fine because most of these guys, they need something to do. They don't do great sitting at home twiddling their thumbs, and they love football. And so they do, all that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
And from the wife and the family standpoint, it's like, okay, it's always something.
Right.
They're always going. So
Right.
yes, I call it season.
Yes.
The actual fall football season
Yes.
is especially demanding.
Yes. So, Kim, if someone saw you at a game, what's one thing they wouldn't know about you just by looking at you?
Wow, that's a tough question. Well, probably just by looking at me, you wouldn't know that I was from California, even though I was born and raised
Mhm.
there. So
You feel you've
I
shed
guess
that
that's
look.
one thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that I ever had it. Like, I don't think that I'm really a typical California girl. And I certainly don't have the whole Valley Girl accent. So I don't know. I don't know what people think of California. I mean, I know what lots of people think of California, but as far as the California stereotype, I'm not it. Like, I'm not OC. Like, people think about, LA, and I'm
And
not
the
that.
beach,
So,
always.
I don't think I'm your typical
California girl.
California person. And I'm clearly not tan, so don't have that going for me either. I'm not tan and blonde. So, yeah.
Okay. This is our lightning question. So I ask all of my guests at the end of their episode, what is your current game day MVP, or that one thing that you cannot live without or take with you to a game?
Oh my gosh. I have the most amazing stadium chair. It is, so it goes flat and it has the back, what are they called? Backpack straps. It's got pockets on both sides for like your little treats and stuff. It has a battery because it's heated. It can be heated,
Sold.
which is amazing in the winter. And it also, that same little battery pack will charge your phone.
No way.
I found it on Amazon and it's amazing and I love it.
You have to send me the link so I can put the link in the show notes because I have been looking for, at our previous school, we didn't have to have, the stadium had the little chairs, but I know now I'm going to need one, and especially if it's heated and I can charge my phone.
Yes.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
It's pretty amazing.
Don't forget, send me the link, please, because I'm going to order before before the season kicks off.
Yes. It's amazing.
Okay.
I forgot it. I have to go pick it up from Iowa, but yeah, I'm little, so the chair looks really big when I'm carrying it, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love it.
Do you have to charge it? You have to charge it separately, like before?
Yeah, you charge the battery, but I mean, it lasts a while. Well, I guess it was in Indiana. There were some really cold games, so it kind of used up the battery. But I mean, it'll for sure, a full charge will definitely get you through a game, even if you use it the whole time. Oh, and it has like low, medium, high. It's fabulous. I'll send you the link.
Please. Thank you. Okay. Are there any opportunities?
But yes, you just have to charge a little battery pack and be done.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Are there any opportunities in AFCWA that you would like to plug?
Yeah. So right now, membership is open. It just opened our fiscal year. And so I just encourage everybody to check it out, afcwa.org, and sign up. And then once you're a member, you'll get access also to the members only Facebook page and also be allowed to attend convention. The membership dues are quite reasonable. I think it's maybe $35, but it's a great opportunity to be part of an organization that really understands football coach's wife life.
Yes, that's a hashtag.
Yes, it is. There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kim. I'm glad that we were able to schedule this and that you were willing to join us for Whistles and Wives. And
Yeah.
that is our
thanks
episode.
for doing this.
Absolutely. Okay. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sheka. All right. Bye.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for joining us. If this episode of Whistles and Wives spoke to you or you enjoyed it, please subscribe, write a review, like, comment, or share with a friend. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.